Follow the money.
That's what we say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Vegas. Excuse me. There you go. From Circa Resort and Casino. Good way to start the show. Big program lined up today. 3 hours here. Live as always. And obviously we have the Sweet 16 coming up a little bit later on tonight. And the real opening day. Games ongoing and games coming up in about 10, 15 minutes, which we're going to get into. Brad Taylor on the program. VSiN Host on the weekends. We'll get his Sweet 16 best bets on the show. Aaron Renning, professional sports bettor on the NBA. I got to ask him where he has the Lakers power rating full season and over the last month or so. And the Godfather, Brett Musburger, his thoughts on the Sweet 16 and who he likes to win it all at this point. Coming up, that's at 6:30 Eastern. Paulie's back from a day off. How was the pizza convention?
Lived up to the hype. Exceeded my expectations. I thought you were just going in and here's some pie and try it. But it was everything that can go in a pizza shop was there. How about that? Look at the dessert tray when you say walk right in. Cannoli, Mississippi mud, cheesecake. Look at that spread, right? How about that?
Well, what was the best thing you had? Dessert or was it actually pizza?
Oh, it was a pizza. Yeah. You close with the cannoli, but it's just, we'll show it later. You walk right in. There's these gals scantily clad. DJ hanging out here, try some wings, and it just go right down the list, handing out food.
I would say that's got to be like a bucket list type of thing to do.
Yeah.
The National Pizza Convention, the best stuff you're going to get in the country for the most part, and you can go there for a day and check it out and enjoy it. That'd be pretty awesome.
A couple people reached out immediately and said, you got to find the prosciutto slicer, which will change your life, which I couldn't find, but I found a cold cut section, what they had. And it's just phenomenal. For POS systems, ovens, everyone, look, here's what we got. Here are the fancy toys, cook-offs, challenges, who has the best pie, rank them, bread, everything. Awesome.
Yeah. Very
Incredible.
good. Very good. All right, so the games that are going on right now in Major League Baseball, what do you want to do with this Pirates game against the Mets? Because Skeens got yanked, didn't even go a full inning. No way you can bet him to win the Cy Young this year. But his defense was absolutely disgusting in that first inning, led by center fielder O'Neal Cruz, who I like, but defensively, absolute disaster. And the Mets scored 5 in the first. They now lead 11-5. Again, I don't want to overreact, but like every day in the Major League Baseball season until like June, I think. But the Pirates were a very popular team in the offseason. And that is probably a little bit of Skeens' World Baseball Classic hangover, you think? Or am I just like reaching here for reasons why maybe the Mets were able to get to him a little bit today?
I don't know. It was just a fluke. I don't know. You couldn't get out of the first inning. It was bizarre. You're right about how the defense let him down, but he had walks. He had a 10-pitch at-bat to another guy, and he just didn't have it today. Sometimes it happens. It's shocking, but he was brutal. And that's just how it goes. The Cubs were big favorites. Skeens blew up today, so I think you're going to see a lot of surprises and a lot of strange games because they play so many. And the other thing, too, I know is always new listeners checking in, but and people have commented about this, about how it's a little bit intimidating when you look at the menu and now that it's opening day in Bet Baseball.
Oh, you get lost.
Oh, sure. You got run lines, money lines, totals, first 5, everything.
The micro betting, you can do at-bat stuff. It's really wild, the betting menu overall. For the sport. The Cubs again, I'm looking right now, they close as high as minus 230 to win the game today against the Nationals. Nationals projected to be one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. And they got to Boyd today, and Boyd was really good for the Cubs. And I saw people saying this on X after a start. They're like, some negative regression was coming. Well, against the Nationals and bumped up to a 230 favorite. Maybe you didn't see it coming today, but it certainly was there for him, and the Nats offense for one day only looked really good. And I will point this out, too. The Brewers are now leading the White Sox by a score of 8-1, top of the 6th. The White Sox, a popular team again in the offseason. And the Brewers, these numbers are always going to be different. I see right now at FanDuel, they closed minus 184, DraftKings minus 199. So Jacob Misiorowski was the opening day starter today for the Brewers. No surprise there. No more Freddie Peralta as he was on the bump today for the Mets.
Is it going to matter?
11 strikeouts through 5.
Yeah.
So I just confirmed this because I do have 3 different bets on starting pitchers to lead all of Major League Baseball in strikeouts this year. I did look at Misiorowski. I wanted to see what his number was going to be. And between Westgate and Circa, the numbers I saw were like around 58, 60 to 1. I mean, if he would have been an absolutely gigantic number, I'm talking triple digits or higher, I would have maybe plunked down a little bit on him just because I don't think the innings are going to be there at the end of the year. Brewers are probably going to be careful with him a little bit.
Yeah.
But 11K, he had 7 through 3. I mean, just like 5, I think, through 2, 11 through 5, and he threw 90-plus pitches. He's just blowing batters out of the water, and I'd reached out to the Westgate and Circuit today. Westgate had as high as 80 to 1 on the guy to lead the league in strikeouts. Now, I think there's one book that already moved him down to 12 to 1. But I didn't bet him. I'm not going to bet him because I don't think, like, overall, the Brewers are going to allow him to have that much wear and tear on the arm. This young is, by the way, youngest opening day starter to have 10-plus Ks since King Felix did it back in 2007 when King Felix was 20 years old. I think the Miz is 23.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And can they do this again? Again, they've gone over their win total 8 of the last 9 years, and they're trying to win the division 4 years in a row.
I say yes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who they lose and who comes in and what happens with the pitching staff. They find a way to get it done, right? I was looking forward to the Dodger game tonight. Yamamoto laying 270. That's a 5:30 start. They owned the division last year, crushed it, went 36-16, and Gallen was bad. Had an ERA of almost 5 and had 15 losses, and the game's going on right now. Please tell me you bet Tyler O'Neill to hit a home run. 6 straight opening days. He's gone deep. Can he do it again?
Well, this is absolutely nuts. His 6 career homers on opening day are 2 away from the MLB record. Record for most on opening day. Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Robinson, Adam Dunn, 8 apiece.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, like
yes.
the longest streak ever for most consecutive games throughout a regular season with a home run is 8. I think Donnie Baseball has that along with Griffey and maybe a couple of other guys as well. But that's just one of the most random things I've ever heard. You know what? I forgot. I saw that. I have it in my notes. I forgot to even look. Do you know what a number was on him? And right now that game is scoreless in the
it was low.
Bottom of the 4th.
Because it's trending. Everyone's
right.
aware of it. And it came in last year, and it keeps coming in, right? Also, see, this could be it for Skubal in Detroit, trying to join Maddox. Wasn't Maddox today. It was Dave Stewart throwing out the first pitch. But Maddox and the big unit, 3 consecutive Cy Young Award winners. He goes today, and there are 8 managers with new teams, including Schumacher, who's popular, and I think he can do a good job with Texas. And that's another good game with a solid pitching matchup coming up on the card with Eovaldi going.
Including the young buck who moved from Tennessee, the Volunteers, to the Giants.
Yeah.
In his managerial debut last night, first guy to ever do that, with no experience to go from college to the big league level. And because I lived there for a while, I worked with some of these guys, and we follow each other on X, still talk once in a while. Like the Bay Area media were like, "Hey, Skip, I get it. It's your first game. You're allowed to take Logan Webb out. Doesn't have it tonight.
Yes, right.
You can go out there and you have the ability to remove him from the game." But isn't that like why baseball? And we saw the tweets already today. One of the best lines ever in VSiN history, in my opinion, from Nick Bogdanovich, longtime Vegas odds maker, who said you need a bottle of whiskey and a revolver to bet Major League Baseball because the beats are just and the unpredictability. But so far, it took like 15 hours. Logan Webb at home has been a thing for pretty much his entire career. Like, you can bank on Logan Webb to be reliable, probably get you like 6+ innings, strike out a bunch of guys, and allow the other team to not get many hits and not get many runs across the plate. And last night he was just not great, and the Yankees got to him right away, and that carried over into today with that it's Paul freaking Skeens, the defending National League Cy Young, and he is removed 2/3 of an inning into the regular season. 11-5 still currently, Mets on top. It's just the randomness in this sport, you're going to hit your head against the wall over and over and over again. You brought up the Boyd thing for the Cubs. Washington's had an ERA of 5.34 last year, second worst in all of Major League Baseball. The kid going today for the Nationals, 27 years old, 11 career big league starts. 10 came last season. And he was the Nats' 4th opening day starter in the last 5 years. 7-3. Things are going cozy right now for the Nationals in that game.
Where are you at with the Orioles?
I like them. I don't love them. I like them.
Right. Rogers got the ball 9-3 with a 1.81 last year. Second best ERA in baseball. 5th different opening day starter for the Orioles. You figure to get a win against the Twins, and the in-play total's 4.5 as they're scoreless in the fourth.
Yeah. Well, Joe Ryan is, he had to be the opening day starter, but Lopez is out for the year. But that makes sense. Ryan's pretty damn good as well. I just think that the American League East is going to be a gauntlet this year. Yankees are going to be damn good. I expect the Blue Jays to be right there again this year. Red Sox aren't going to be like a 500 team. They'll be a threat for sure. And I think for the first time in a long time, you can say the Rays are clearly the worst team in that division.
MLB.com power rankings. Yankees 4th, Red Sox 7th, Blue Jays 2nd, Baltimore 10th.
4 of the top 10.
That is tough.
Pretty good. And by the way, I don't even disagree with the Blue Jays being number 2.
No.
I don't. I think they're going to be phenomenal again.
Yeah.
This show is brought to you by ProfitX, and right now you can win a free trip worth up to $10,000 during March Madness with King of March. Use the code VSiN MM. But how about our buddy Matt Vasgersian on the call last night in the Bay Area for the Giants game and back at it today? That ended at 11 o'clock Eastern time. He was on the first pitch today for NBC at, 1:15 Eastern time?
Warrior. Absolutely.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Good for him to be able to pull that off. So we're going to continue. We have 5 more games starting very soon on the real opening day. We'll tell you, we're going to go over some season-long props and also tell you which starting pitcher has dominated today's opponent in a handful of games over the past couple of seasons. Coming up on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. It's March, which means the madness is officially upon us, and the folks at VSiN have gone crazy with this one. For $29.99, you get unlimited access to VSiN Pro through May 1st. I'm talking picks throughout the tournament, public betting data for every single game, sharp tools, projections, articles, and more, which means every day you wait is an opportunity missed. Just click the link in the description to get started. It's March, baby. Now back to the show.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so more games are either starting as we speak or they are about to have their first pitch. They claimed 10 after, but sometimes these opening day ceremonies can take a little bit longer than anticipated, and right now the Red Sox and the Reds are underway. It is a good pitching matchup overall. Crochet, first of all, on the mound today for the Boston Red Sox, finished runner-up Cy Young last year to Skubal. He led all of Major League Baseball with 255 Ks, AL best 205-plus innings, 18 wins as well, and a 2.59 ERA. Remember, I was making the push. I thought he should have won last year because those numbers were actually better than Skubal's, but Skubal had the narrative, and his numbers were also very good, so he won it again. And Andrew Abbott is 26 years old, very under-the-radar guy. But again, here's the thing with the Reds, right? Green's always hurt. Lodolo on the IL to start the year. I can't trust this team because of that. I really want to, but I can't. And he was a first-time All-Star last year, 2.87 with the ERA, more than 166 innings pitched. Our buddy Donnie, who lives in the area, is at the game right now. And he said, do with this what you want. Winds are absolutely howling out today. But I didn't touch it, even though he told me that, because it is opening day, and you got a guy like Crochet on the mound. So
great season last year. I know I'm a Crochet fan. I'm with you. 89 wins. We mentioned their power ratings. MLB has them 7th. So good game here. But I also like Abbott. And I don't see a lot of runs in this game. I do like the Astros. That has gone off. By the way, O'Neal's 4-1 in play to go deep, if you think he can do it 7 years in a row. But it's just more of a fate against the Angels and Soriano here.
I'm on the other side here.
Yeah, okay.
I like the Angels.
Yeah, well, can these guys stay healthy? Trout's 34 now, and most people expect another down year for the Astros, and didn't go well last season, but so we're against each other there, but you're on the Angels. Okay.
I'll give you some numbers here. I know there's no Pena in the lineup today for the Astros either, so they're missing a couple of guys. But Hunter Brown has been, this is the guy I was talking about before the break, 4 starts against the Angels since the start of the 2024 season. He's been brilliant. A 1.57 ERA, 4 earned runs over 23 innings pitched, and a 115 opposing batting average allowed, 9 for 78 overall. And the Astros have dominated the Angels. 55 of their last 77 meetings, they have won since the start of the 2021 season. That would equal a 109 win rate over a 162 game season. However, A game Soriano's very good, and his last 2 starts he has been equally impressive, if not better, against this Astros lineup. Again, down a guy like Pena today in the lineup. He also led all of Major League Baseball last year in ground ball percentage, and he's got that 97-mile-an-hour sinker as well, and he throws it a lot. I think it's too high of a number. I'm not really high on the Angels this year, but I also think the Astros can kind of be bad. And I just think that laying this kind of a number with the Astros was too high to begin the day.
You know, it could be a bad outfit at St. Louis.
They're supposed to be bottom 3.
Second fewest home runs last year, and a lot of key players gone. They could be awful this year when you look at it as well. And I will say, as we have a new manager also in San Diego, this game coming up with the Padres, Mason Miller's become appointment viewing, what this guy has done. And you go back to what he did in the playoffs against the Cubs and how he finished the playoffs and the World Baseball Classic. 28 consecutive scoreless innings, striking out 60 of the 97 batters faced with only 4 hits allowed. What this guy has turned into. I mean, he is awesome.
Yep. Samich and I talked about this yesterday when you were out. And the numbers overall, when you include the World Baseball Classic, are it's basically the best you're ever going to see from a reliever, like in the history of the game. And now his number is 100-1, and a reliever has not won a Cy Young since 2003 when Eric Gagne pulled it off with the Dodgers. We kicked that around. And our buddy Weston,
what would you need?
Pointed that out to me. I never bet it at 100-1. I would take probably like 200 or 250-1 because it's every single year.
Yeah, I know you've done it before.
Right, when a reliever has like the best season we've had in 25 years, and yet they can't win the award. Bautista did it a couple years ago for the Orioles, and Class A was probably better a couple years ago for the Guardians. Nope, basically had no chance. So that's why I didn't bet it. And Miller has a chance to be better than both of them, but also Samich brought up the biggest point of all, and that is a lot of people are down to the Padres this year. And if that's the case, they could easily pivot and decide to be sellers at the deadline. If they would happen to trade him to an American League team, you might be sitting on a guy with a sub-1 ERA and, 18, 19 Ks per 9 around the trading deadline. And all of a sudden he goes to whatever team in the American League, and that bet's dead. And that would really not be a fun feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like they have basically told us a reliever has little to no chance to win the award.
Player props, I always like to fade the hot prospects coming in with a ton of hype. Just because it seems they press, it's a whole different ball game for them. They have to get acclimated and adjusted. Roman Anthony was awesome, but he struggled early on. And also, I remember Chris Bryant going back when the Cubbies brought him up. I think he had a golden sombrero in his first game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're pressing, you're swinging, you're expanding the strike zone. And I know you're high on this hot shot prospect for the Tigers, but I think I would look at his props under until he comes out and shows that he's going to dominate right off the bat.
Well, and always when you look at season-long props, and some books will leave this stuff up for pretty much the entire year. Other books will take it off now that we've had opening day. So that can be a little frustrating. However, again, we talked about this yesterday. There was an offshore book that offered the prop, will anybody hit 60 home runs this year? The number was plus 110. Caesars has plus 375.
Yeah, that's what. Come on.
Yeah.
That's more in line with what it should be.
So Cal Raleigh, he did it last year. Judge did it back in 2022. Those are the first 2 guys to do it since like that Bonds, Sosa, McGuire era. I think we do have multiple guys, though, if they stay healthy for the entire year, they have 60-plus home run power. Obviously, Raleigh does, but I don't think he could repeat last year. Judge could do it again. Ohtani could do it again. Schwarber could do it for the first time. And maybe a guy like Kurtz for the A's could do it. And based on where he plays his games, doesn't hurt either. But I think there's a chance a guy's going to push for 60 again this year.
I would need more than plus 175 for a pitcher to win 20 games.
Yeah, I'm not betting that number.
That should be higher. I would like it to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
I would think. Yes.
You can also bet individual players to get these milestones, right? You can bet individual pitchers to win 18 or 20 games. When it comes to 60 home runs, like I just ran down,
yeah.
Ohtani is plus 450, Schwarber 11-1, Raleigh 13 and Kurtz 15. Judge was off the board because they played last night. And 50-plus home runs. A guy like Junior Caminero hit 45 last year, got off to kind of a slow start. He's 7-1. And Alonso is plus 550 playing in Baltimore now this year. Could Alonso put together the kind of year that could actually push
that's aggressive.
Judge to win the MVP?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What number did Humans get on Schlittler for Cy Young? What do you think of that?
He got 300 on him.
Okay.
Because when he talked about it on the future draft here, DK had 50. Then he looked around. Westgate had 300. So that's a slight difference there.
I think that's worth some pizza money. Don't you?
And a guy like him to maybe lead the league in Ks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the
you can do that, okay.
I'm scared with the young guys based on overall, how many innings they're going to get. But Abbott got out of it, by the way. Red Sox had 2 guys on, and they didn't get anybody across. So now that's scoreless going to the. Well, actually, I think the Crochet was 1, 2, 3 maybe as well. So they're going to go to the top of the second scoreless maybe in that game. I looked this up today. Caesars also offers, will we have any player hit a home run of 500 plus feet on the years, plus 180. So from the research that I did, we have not had a guy do that in recent memory, but Adam Dunn did it twice. Richie Sexson hit a 503-foot bomb. Manny Ramirez did it. Mo Vaughn, Jim Thome, McGuire Canseco, some others on the list as well. But basically, the Adam Dunn, Richie Sexson's home runs were the most recent to happen, which I found a little surprising. We haven't had one since.
That is surprising.
Right?
Yeah.
You figured in Colorado, I don't know, the Yankees have played there before. Could Judge do it? Ohtani obviously being in that division. But evidently, according to the stat tracker numbers, nobody has hit one in a long time. And
Detroit all over Pavetta. Are they still batting? It's 4-0 and they're still batting?
Wow.
Oh, man. This guy's got nothing today.
So what's Scooble now to win the game live?
Yeah. That's the last thing he needs, all that run support. 1,000. Minus 1,000.
Now, he did pitch, but it was briefly in the World Baseball Classic. Look what happened to Webb. Look what happened to Skeens.
Right. That's a good observation.
Yeah.
I know. Follow the money brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X yet, now's the time. Sign up by April 6th. Purchase at least $25 and get a free $25. Jump in the King of March contest. You can win free trips worth up to $5,000, even $10,000. Just use the code VSiNMM. Make your first purchase, then learn about the contest on their homepage and start playing. No entry fee required. Hit 1,000 in volume, you're entered for the 5K trip. Hit 10,000, you're in for the 10K trip. Win 10 picks, hit the volume, and every additional 10 wins gets you another entry. Download Profit X code VSiNMM. Make your first purchase and take your shot at becoming the King of March. Good luck. Get up there.
Great overall time in the sports betting world, obviously. With you got a golf tournament going on today. You have Major League Baseball with a slew of games on the real opening day. And then you have the Sweet 16 games tonight as well, which we're going to get a dive into coming up next from a betting perspective. Dogs in this range have been solid bets in the Sweet 16 since 2017. We'll discuss that and best bets with VSiN weekend host Brad Taylor coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, great day again, as I was talking about. We get the Sweet 16 games a little bit later on tonight as well. And we'll hit those here with some best bets and analysis as Brad Taylor joins the program now. He's a host here on VSiN on the weekends. He does live bet Saturdays with Will Hill. You do it from Circa, the sports book at the Mint in Kentucky.
Yes, we do it live from the Mint Gaming Hall in Franklin, Kentucky, right above the Circa Sportsbook, and we have a good time, Will Hill and I. My back hurts every Saturday night from carrying him those 4 hours.
Sure.
But, yeah, we have a good time with it, and we try to cash some tickets, but that's what we're all trying to do here on VSiN.
Yep. So you're born and raised in Kentucky,
Yes.
and obviously you know John Calipari and his teams very well over the years. This feels like a very typical Cal team in Arkansas. Uber talented, disappointed, I think, maybe a little bit over the regular season, but here we are now against Arizona, who basically has a little bit of everything, in my opinion, might be the best team in the country. What are your thoughts on this game, Brad?
John Calipari has, when he left Lexington, the one thing that I was like, is like, why are you not upset that he's gone? Because we knew when to bet against him. Bet against him in the cupcake games and bet against him in a tournament situation, kind of like this one. Yeah, he's getting a lot of points here, but like we were talking about during the commercial break, Arizona might just be the best team in this thing right now. Arizona, Michigan, they're right up there, and the way the favorites have done, I don't want to put my money on John Calipari. I don't care how many points they're getting. I don't want to put my money on Calipari in a spot like this, only because He's burned me so many times in the past, being a guy from Lexington who's seen him crash and burn in a spot like this many, many times before. But with the favorites doing as well as they're doing, yeah, I can't touch this game from a point spread type perspective here with Cal getting points here.
So you think that continues? The last 2 years, Sweet 16 and on, favorites of 6 or more, 51-6 straight up.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
Like, how can we get? And we were talking about live bet Saturday. Will Hill, I think he was about to fall into tears on Saturday night. He's like, "This tournament's just not what it was, Brad. All the favorites come through. What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "Come on, Narc, get out of this. Let's just try to have some fun. There are some live dogs out there. We just got to find the live dogs. It's a lot harder than it used to be. But Cal, I don't think he's a live dog this weekend.
Okay, is this the end of the line for Texas, going from first 4 to Sweet 16? I don't know where they're getting this defense from, as they were 10th in the SEC in defense during the regular season. Does Purdue have too much offense here and cover the number?
I think I would have to take Purdue here. Not one of my favorite plays, but when you look at the slow-paced dogs we love this time of year, Texas did come in as a slow-paced dog. And are they really a Cinderella? Because, I mean, they are an SEC team with all the money, the money's coming out of everywhere down in Austin. Are they really a Cinderella? With Sean Miller especially, till he gets to the Elite Eight. Sean Miller's a great tournament coach. The Elite Eight usually causes him problems, usually against Wisconsin, as you guys remember from back in the day. So, yeah, I think Texas, the line might be up for them here tonight.
Brad Taylor, our guest, VSiN weekend host here. As we're talking Sweet 16, follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. How about the Houston region tonight? I have heard opinions on both sides of the Illinois-Houston game all week long. The number's been toggling back and forth between Cougars 2.5, 3.5, and now back to 2.5 in this game tonight. How much of this do you factor in with maybe home court here for the Cougars?
VSiN betting guide right before this started. One of my favorite bets was 3-1, the champion to come out of this South region. Not just because you had Florida, who was at the time the best team, but you had the best 2 seed in Houston, and you had the best 3 seed in Illinois. And now you go into this game tonight, I wouldn't be shocked if I could find a prop on this. I've been looking for it. I haven't found it. The winner of this game, maybe to win the national championship. You can get some good odds on this one. These are 2 really good teams, but I'm going to take the chalk here with Houston. One of my favorite bets. Kelvin Sampson in this spot, and the defense. Illinois, the Ken Palm numbers, love the Illinois offense, but they don't love the Illinois defense. Yeah, you see this line is 2.5, and we've seen this line. It hasn't really moved a whole lot this week at all. Yeah, I'm going to lay the chalk with Houston here. Kelvin Sampson, does he finally get it this year? I don't know, but I like him a lot tonight.
If they can score like they did in the first 2 rounds, it's not fair.
Absolutely.
Because they're so good defensively. Now, history has not been kind to the situation that Iowa's in. When you win a game to put you in the Sweet 16 as a double-digit dog, they're the 7th team to do that since 02-03. The previous 6 lost. Can they come back now after the celebration and, you beat Florida, great job, guys, and now the rivalry game against Nebraska? What do you think? Nebraska 1.5.
And it was 2.5. So how come this line has come from 2.5 to 1.5? You see a lot of the money coming in. The public money is on Nebraska here. Reverse line move. We see the money on one side, the line moving the other way. And this was the Big Ten. And Nebraska was a 4 seed. Iowa was the 9 seed. How come this line's only 2.5, 1.5? If there's such a big difference between them and seeds, such a big difference between them and the conference, why is this number only what it is? I like Iowa tonight, straight up. I'll take the money line tonight with a little Iowa action here in this one. It's only 1.5, but still. Yeah, I'll take the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Does that game qualify as your best bet on the card for tonight?
Boy, tonight's games, yeah, that's kind of the best one on the line tonight. Houston and Iowa, those are my best 2 tonight. A couple of unders tomorrow night. I love the neutral court unders this time of year. Once we get out of regular season, because I don't know about you guys, conference road dogs, love those during the regular season. But once we get to conference tournaments, it's neutral court unders because historically those do a lot better in conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament, the unders. So, yeah, St. John's under tomorrow night. And Iowa State and Tennessee, we talked about 2 words, Rick Barnes. I'm going to play Chalky McChalkerson in that one. Take Iowa State tomorrow night against Rick Barnes. His tournament record against the spread is terrible. And an under in that one tomorrow night, too. Yeah, those are my best bets. I don't know about you guys, but those are my best bets for this Sweet 16.
So you don't need to wait to see if Joshua Jefferson's going to be back for the Cyclones. You're good enough going in with him being questionable or maybe not even playing in that game to trust him to get it done?
Odds makers usually bake this into the line. So, you guys know this better than I do. But we saw Iowa State against Kentucky over the weekend. They lost him. He wasn't playing against Kentucky over the weekend, and they dominated Kentucky. Not that that was a homer play for me, because believe me, Go on the radio in Lexington, Kentucky, and say you're betting against the Wildcats and see when they come at you with pitchforks and torches all day long. But, yeah, this is a good spot for me to lay the chalk with Iowa State with that in mind and the Rick Barnes factor on the other side.
That's okay. So you just like this guy, it's not going to continue. This guy is going to be the reason why they lose a game eventually in the tournament.
Eventually, yeah, it always has been, but Iowa State is that good. I watched them against Kentucky, and even without Jefferson, they were that good on Sunday.
Okay, so also, I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul.
How about Michigan State and UConn?
Well, that's a tough one.
It is.
That is a tough one, and that's lines 1.5, depending on where you shop. That's one I just think I might just sit back and watch. You know, Lem Banker told us they play the national anthem all over the place, all over the nation. Something you don't have to play. You don't have to bet the board. We could stay away from some of those. I don't know about you guys. If you could help me with this, I'll be happy. But yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one right now. 1.5.
Feels like maybe a live betting game.
Absolutely, and that's what I've been doing in these tournaments with the unders, especially. Set that number, and when that live bet finally hits over the number, that's when you try to hit the under. I'm sure you guys know this better than I do.
All right, one final SEC team, and again, you're from Kentucky. You do the show at the Mint from Circus Sports there on Saturdays with Will Hill, so you know this conference inside and out, and that would be Alabama, who was blistering hot in their previous game against Texas Tech. That was a hell of a performance. Now they get a Michigan team that has been just dynamite so far in the tournament, and Bama's catching a huge number. Is it big enough for you to actually go to war with them, or what do you make of the game?
Even before the incident with the raid in the player's house, we were saying all year, this is the most difficult team in college basketball to handicap is Alabama. Because sometimes they could play out of their minds and cover and beat a good team, and then other teams they couldn't. And, you know, you could talk about the odds being baked into these numbers. This is another game where, yeah, I don't know if I want to touch this game either because Alabama is so just unpredictable and ups and downs, and Nate Oates is another guy who does that over the years. So, yeah, this is one I might just stay away from as well. But, yeah, Alabama could be anything right now. Final four to lose by 20.
Yeah. You mentioned under Duke St. John's. Any interest in taking the Johnnies plus the points as well?
Have we heard anybody on Duke?
Not many.
That's what scares me about this game. Everybody's on St. John's getting points here, and we're still seeing it like you see it's 7 right there. Why isn't this line moved at all with you see all this action on St. John's? That's the only thing that scares me about this. But then again, when you have Calipari in Lexington, they're always seemingly wanting Pitino back in Lexington. So, yeah, it's kind of the 6-7 thing there with those two guys. So, yeah, I wouldn't bet against Pitino, but I don't think I'm going to lay the chalk either.
It looks like Carolina's going to do the right thing and go outside the family. Who's the next coach of the Tar Heels?
Your guess is as good as mine. From
Donovan.
what we've been. Is it Donovan?
What do you think?
Because if he does, Lexington 3 different times. Three different times thought they had. Go ahead.
Is he still the favorite?
He was at last check. Tommy Lloyd kind of on his heels.
3 different times when Kentucky had the coaching vacancies, they went after Billy Donovan. And 3 times Billy Donovan said, nah, not right now. But it was always kind of accepted, even the Billy Gillespie time, when they got Calipari. Donovan was always the front runner. And now to see him go to North Carolina, oh, you talk about throwing down the gauntlet to the Big Blue Nation. That would be what Billy Donovan does if he goes to North Carolina.
Is Kentucky going to be open?
For my money, I wish it would, but it won't because they're in this new money-saving thing now. So we got to give Mark Pope another chance. But if you've seen how the locals in Lexington have been treating him and reacting to him, they're not happy. The natives are restless, to say the least. And he's got 1 more year to prove it. And if he does it next year, he is gone.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, fellas.
Good to meet you.
You guys got me through COVID, and I've been a big fan of you guys for years. And good stuff. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. Baseball season's here. VSiN Pro just made it a whole lot more profitable with MLB AI player prop projections powered by Opt.ai. Every day we break it all down to the top value plays and strong plays, so you don't have to do the heavy lifting. Get access now with the VSiN Pro subscription, VSiN.com/MLB props.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Wild night in the NBA. The Sixers pound the Bulls 157-137. Most points in over 50 years in a game. for the Sixers. Hawks do it again. A thriller in Detroit. They win in overtime. They've won 16 of their last 17. Boston beats the Thunder. Is Detroit going to hang on to the 1 seed? This is getting good. Will the Thunder hang on to the 1 seed?
Well, I hope not.
That'd be great. Wemby does it again. That's right. Tank Parlay goes 7-0. That also came in.
We broke that down several times on the show yesterday. Last night felt like a really good night to get involved with it.
Yes. Judge over 3.5 strikeouts, 10-1. Miz 9+ Ks, plus 550. That cashes. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. The bucket list item, the Pizza Expo yesterday at the Convention Center. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Mississippi mud, cheesecake, desserts, everything coming at you. You walk right in, you're greeted by gals dancing, DJ, wings. There's your Toronto with the bread, that section. Everything imaginable that can fit in a pizza shop is there, and that is bellissimo. Look at that spread and that eclectic mix from the pitas to the pies, to everything they offer. Here's the gals right when you walk in. I mean, it's the size of 3 football fields, and it's just lined up with all food, and here's the girls handing out the wings with a DJ. Incredible time, and good fun had by all. And I would say 45 minutes and I was done. You just, between Philly cheesesteak and everyone just saying, try this, try that, you're gonna explode. You can't do it.
Oh, yeah, we said yesterday when we talked about you going over there that you kind of have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to be over before you know it.
Yeah. And Hormel was there, and Fontanini. They specialize in the best toppings in the industry. Guess who was there? 4 guys from the Meatball Brothers who won Circa Survivor 2 years ago. They're part of that.
Well, it makes sense.
And we're hanging out. Absolutely. Yeah. Good. How about Will Hill? You got the family dog, the new puppy? Look at this guy. Good job, Will Hill. That's excellent.
Little guy named Charlie.
Okay.
Yellow lab.
Got to have some toys. Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, kids absolutely love it so far. Nonstop playing. I have always loved labs. I've never had one.
Uh-huh.
Either a yellow or a chocolate lab, I think, would be such a great dog to own.
Well said. Bam, nailed it. Sick beats as always. How does this happen? This was historic. The Rockets led the Timberwolves by 13 in overtime. 15-0 run by Minnesota to end it. How do you blow a 13-point lead in over? There's only a couple minutes left. They start off with a 13-0 run and then lose the game. And Durant misses 2 free throws. Again.
Unreliable late at the free throw line for one of the best free throw shooters like in modern. Also, there was a massive blown lead late. Let the conspiracy theories begin. I watched Rob Perez break it all down on video today. It was an unbelievable job.
Uh-huh.
Scott Foster, of course, was involved.
Yeah.
And when you slow down Naz Reid, the ejection, what he was mouthing over to Scott Foster when he was called for a charge, it was an absolutely insane call to make that a flagrant. Naz Reid was telling him he's moving. That's what he said. And Scott Foster, without even giving him a technical, kicked him out of the game. At the end of the game, Julius Randle's pointing at him. And he goes, that bleep is, you can't bring, whatever. He was basically saying it's all fishy what you were trying to do. But Scott Foster will keep reffing games for the next 10 years.
It's been a problem for a long time. Lakers, what? Up 23 in the fourth quarter, laying 8.5. And then up 10, Toppin shoots a 3 at the buzzer. Why? And it goes in, puts it on 7.
Well, why'd the Lakers score right before that? There was no need.
To lay it in?
Yeah.
Yeah. In any event, they coasted. They're up 23. Pacers scored, I think, 45 points in the quarter. And for whatever reason, Toppin knocks down the 3. And then opening night, the total was 8. Yankees-Giants, 7-0 in the 5th. That's your final score. Vicious if you had the over. Founded in 2011, Sharp Plays just completed another dominant run, including a 2025 campaign that saw bankrolls double. 15 straight years of winning, all documented. Records and logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com. When the Sharp Plays moves, books take notice. Advanced AI tools, trusted insider intelligence, identifying price value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com. So we had another move last night at DraftKings and Caesars. Wemby is down to 9-1 to win the MVP. They picked up another game on OKC. Obviously, they have the tiebreaker, beating them 4 out of 5. I think they can win out. And the Thunder still have you have to go to Denver. They have to go to L.A. They have a back-to-back after the Lakers. They play the Clippers. 2 games against the Lakers. This could get interesting. Now, I do agree with you. Why does he have to catch them? But because every night, Wembanyama's putting up a sick box score.
I don't know why he would have to be. If they finish from a game out of Oklahoma City for the 1 seed, you're telling me he's not the MVP? Right. That's just dumb.
What are we closing with, like a 29-1 record then?
Right. Look, I mean, I'm not a big Draymond Green fan. I like what he said after the game when he was asked about Wemby stating his case for the MVP. Draymond said, I loved it and I hated it. He goes, first of all, I hate it that people said after Wemby came out and pointed out, look, defense is 50% of the game. Then people all over social media and like everywhere nationally, like, you know what? He's right. And Draymond's like, no kidding, he's right. No kidding. Why would it take Wemby to say that defense is such a big part of the game for you to say, oh, you know what? He might be onto something here. Maybe we should look at that a little bit more. But he actually said that he loved it to make that point overall. And Von Tobel was talking about this too on Money Moves, where evidently people who have votes and like national media members who track this stuff, when Luka was ahead of Victor Wembanyama,
right,
and they were asked about the odds board, they kind of laughed and said, under no scenario is Luka ahead of Victor right now for the MVP. It's SGA, then Victor, and it's like Luka basically is not even close to Wemby right now. So it's going to come down to those two guys. It's going to come down to SGA and Victor Wembanyama. And I'm intrigued. What if the Spurs if it's even, Steven, right, with a couple of games to go? Does he turn into even money or like a plus 110 to win the MVP? Continue to play at this rate? Or, and here's another thing I thought of. Will voters pull this out again and say, wow, he's going to win so many, I don't have to give it to him?
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear it once.
That's why we got robbed with Defensive Player of the Year. And they gave it to Gobert, right? Yep.
There's also a huge game tonight in the NBA. For me specifically, and those of you who also have Charlotte Hornets future tickets.
Buzz City Killers.
The hedge got there last night. We were so close to the perfect scenario because we took the Hawks plus the 3.5. We wanted a Pistons win by 1, 2, or 3 points. How does Duren miss that putback at the buzzer in overtime? If that lands Pistons 1, I'm dancing in the street still. So I talked to Chris Massaro about this. He said, I don't have to bet the Knicks tonight. I think I do. And I don't think I'm going to take plus 1.5. I think I'm going to take a money line to win the game outright. The reason why he says I don't, he likes the Hornets to win the game. I don't really have an opinion on it. I just want to make sure I make money on these tickets that I have on the Hornets here. What would you do?
I think I'd let it go because you're 2 back.
They also have the Celtics coming up.
Yeah, right. But
I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
Well, the schedule finally gets difficult for Atlanta. And of all teams, to rip off a 16-1 run. I mean, this is crazy what they're doing. But they are now the 5, and you caught Orlando. You're a half game behind Miami. I mean, you're right there to pass all these teams. Again, if you can go into OKC and Boston and bunk both of them, there's not a game you can say, well, that's a lose. That's a loss. That's going to be. But this is a big one tonight. They've been great defensively. Knicks are hot. But this is one that I think you can get, and then it gets interesting if you can. I think because I looked at the schedule, and I told you 2 days ago that they could close 9-2.
It's possible.
That's definitely possible, and that'll do it. That'll get you. That should get you the division. That should move you up to 6 seed territory as well.
Let me ask you this:
because you got play. You don't want to be in that play-in. And I would also think worst case. Hopefully, you're looking at the 7 or the 8 seed. Worst case.
Does this come down to 2 teams? Does it come down to the Hornets and the Hawks?
Yeah, Orlando's a mess right now.
I'm drawing a line through the Magic.
Yeah, lost 6 in a row.
The Heat have they're the one team that has the tiebreaker over the Hornets. Mm-hmm. So what if I just bet the Hawks at like plus 110 to win the division? Can the Heat steal it from me and I lose all those bets?
Yeah, that's possible.
And for those of us who are on it, speaking for the entire audience who's on Charlotte here.
Yeah.
So don't
do that.
That's
risky business.
That's too risky. That's what I kind of think too.
I haven't done a deep dive in Miami's schedule though, but there's a lot on the line here, even though we're down to 9 games. This is madness in the East. I mean, there's two losses is separating the 5 from the 10 seed.
Yep. And oh, by the way, so the Pistons, let's say they do get, it doesn't matter. They get the 1 or the 2. If they can't have Cunningham for the playoffs because of the lung, I'm speculating here. You think they want Charlotte in the playoffs?
No way.
Not a chance.
No way.
We'll update live betting numbers in Major League Baseball coming up and discuss some bold predictions for the regular season on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.